Peace, YouTube. Welcome to Winning Wednesdays for Wednesday, November 19th, 2025. My name is Errol, and I am a freedom consultant. Welcome to Winning Wednesdays. As you come in, let us know where you're from. Let us know where you're checking in from. Today, we are live on StreamYard. We are live on the Black Boss YouTube channel. And we are live on Dr. Boyce's X channel. So we welcome everyone joining us today. A lot to talk about. I've got a lot on my agenda here today. Interesting day, interesting week, interesting month so far in the market. Let me see what's going on in the market before we really jump in. Yeah, very interesting, very interesting. We'll get into it. All right. Okay. Yep. So, yeah, like I said, a lot on my agenda here today. Lots to discuss. Very interesting times. Who do we have in the chat? Who do we have joining? We got my guy El Haj. Peace, El Haj. Got my guy El Haj. Peace. Let's see. Let me go back to let me pull up my screen here. Okay. As of 12:02 p.m. Eastern, I see the NASDAQ slightly up. I see the S&P slightly up. A couple of tickers I got on my list here to discuss. I'm gonna add one more right now before I forget. Okay, we're gonna look up a couple of tickers, a couple of interesting tickers. Let me add that other one here. Okay, so we're gonna look at that. I've got several tickers I want to discuss today. What do I see? I see Microsoft 488 currently, Meta 587 currently. Netflix, I got an article I want to discuss about Netflix on the schedule here on the notes. Meta, I wanted to discuss today. Bitcoin, I wanted to discuss today. Several interesting tickers, several interesting times, several interesting tickers I want to discuss here. All right, we'll give it just a minute. Let's see here. For anyone just now joining, welcome to Winning Wednesdays. My guy Howard from Austin, Texas. I was going to say Houston. Austin, Texas. You know I can't read that well. Austin, Texas. Peace to Howard from Austin, Texas. All right, let me. I want to get right into it. I want to share my screen here and talk about this ticker. Talk about this ticker right here. Okay, I googled Google. Okay, interesting ticker right here. Let's see right here. Let me get mine right. Okay, let me see if I can make that a little bit bigger. Okay, Alphabet Class C currently at 295.62. 295.62. Hopefully you can see that. Okay, I went to Google and I googled Google. All right, current price is 295.62, up 3.5% today. Okay, up $10 to 295. Okay, so let's see here. Let me see if I can adjust. Okay, there we go. All right, 5-day, 4%. 1 month. Okay, so 1 month up 15%. Okay, almost 15%. Google. Very, very interesting times for Google. All-time high, I believe. Let me see if I go to the max. Yes. Hopefully you can see that max screen. Google is at an all-time high. Okay, 294.81. Okay, back in May, if you can see that chart, let me go back here. Back in May, if you can see my my vertical line here. March was at 167. April 4th. Okay, April 4th, 2025, it was at 147. Okay, 147. Okay, now it's almost double that. Okay, right now it's actually exactly double that. Right, if my math is correct, 2 times 147 is about 294. If my math is right. Okay, so it looks like it's double since early April. Okay, now we're in mid-November, almost late November. We're in late November right now. Okay, so April was the 4th month of the year. Now we're in the 11th month of the year. Okay, so Google looks like it has doubled since April 4th. Okay, so interesting ticker right there. First ticker I want to discuss, Alphabet right there. Okay, so let's see what else I got. Okay, here's another one, interesting one. Here's another interesting one. MSTR, MicroStrategy. Let's see what's going on with MicroStrategy. Okay, currently is 189. 189 MSTR, ticker symbol MSTR. Currently at 189, down 8.5% today to 189. All right, let's see the 5-day, down 15.5% in 5 days, down 36% in 1 month, down 54% in 6 months. Okay, so it's you know where this is going. Okay, but okay, 5 years it's up, max it's up. Okay, but this year down 37%. Okay, MicroStrategy. Okay, very liquid ticker, very volatile ticker. Okay, so that's the second ticker I wanted to look up. Google first, MicroStrategy second, and this is another one I want to look up before we move on, and that is Bitcoin. Okay, Bitcoin price. Current price of Bitcoin, 89,925. 89,925. Okay, down 3%, over 3% today to 89.9. Okay, let's see here. 5-day down 5%, 1 month down 16%, 6 months 13%. Year to date, okay, year to date it's down. 1 year it's down. 5 years it's way up. Okay. Another interesting chart, another interesting ticker is BTC, Bitcoin. Current price is 89,000. Okay, so are you guys buying at 89,000? Are you guys buying at 89,000? Let us know. Are you buying at 89,000? Okay. All right. Speaking of Bitcoin, I've got a article here from. Let's see where this is from. Oh yeah, here it is. Okay, I've got an article talking about Bitcoin's drop. Let's check out that article. Let me see if I can get my text straight. Let me see if I can get. Okay, actually, before I even do that. Tech check. Can you hear me? Can you see me? Please drop a confirmation. Tech check. Can you hear me and can you see me? My tech skills lag. Okay, my tech skills lag. Please confirm you can hear me and see me. Then I want to talk about this article from Yahoo Finance. Actually, this article's from Bloomberg, but I see here on Yahoo Finance. Hopefully my tech is straight. Okay, hopefully my tech is straight. All right, let me get into this first article here. Yahoo Finance. Let me see when this article is from. This article is from Tuesday. Okay, yesterday morning. Okay, speaking of BTC, Bitcoin drops below 90,000 for the first time in 7 months. Okay, first time from Bloomberg. Let's see what's going on with Bloomberg. Bitcoin dropped below 90,000, deepening a month-long slide that has erased the cryptocurrency's gain from 2025 and rocked sentiment across the digital asset world. The largest token fell as much as 2.8% on Tuesday, extending its decline from a record of more than 126,000 set in early October. Bitcoin last traded below 90,000, eventually tumbling to as low as 74,400 in April after President Donald Trump upended financial markets worldwide with his initial plan for trade tariffs. It recovered some losses to trade around 91,137 at 8:30 a.m. in New York. The reversal comes amid rising economic headwinds, including renewed concerns over interest rate policy and stretched valuations across speculative markets. With traders reassessing the likelihood of a Federal Reserve interest rate cut in December and stock markets slipping from recent highs, risk appetite has soared, leaving Bitcoin vulnerable to further downside. Where do you see Bitcoin going? Okay, Bitcoin's currently at 89,000. Do you believe it's going to rebound? Do you believe it'll pull back even more? With the Fed December rate cuts pricing below 50% chance now, crypto markets continue to grind lower after losing the important 100K level in BTC. Option traders are betting on deeper losses with demand for downside protection at the 85,000 and 80,000 strikes dominating recent flows. Okay. I want to talk a little bit about options today. Generally speaking, I want to keep this to a general stock market discussion, but I will discuss a little options today. Okay. Speaking of options. The crypto market has struggled to find support after an early October sell-off triggered more than 19 billion in liquidations and wiped out over 1 trillion in token market value. While the cohort of institutional holders have largely held their ground, retail participation and dip buying have faded, particularly among speculative altcoins. Long and short positions worth about 950 million have been liquidated in the past 24 hours. Some market watchers pointed to an uncertain outlook for Bitcoin as selling by ETFs hit by outflows and distress among digital assets treasuries presented an opportunity for longer term bulls to pounce on recent declines. We expect Bitcoin to see more volatility for the next few months as long-term buyers view this drop as good opportunity. Okay, so how do you guys feel about, is this a good opportunity to buy? Are you waiting? What are you doing? Okay, one course of action is to do nothing. Okay, one course of action is to do nothing. Okay, you don't always have to do something. So how do you guys feel about Bitcoin? Are you buying at current price? Are you waiting for further pullback? Are you doing nothing? Okay, so what's your course of action? What's your course of action with Bitcoin? What is your course of action with Bitcoin? Okay, I think I've mentioned this before. Me personally, I don't get too high, I don't get too low. My mindset is to stay constant. So what am I doing? I'm doing the same thing I did last week, the same thing I did last quarter, the same thing I did last year. I am dollar cost averaging, and I'll maybe mix in some lump sum buys here and there. Okay, same mindset Monday, same mindset Wednesday, same mindset Tuesday, same mindset if the market's up, same mindset if the market is flat, same mindset if the market is down. That's me personally. That's been working for me. That's what I'll stick to. That's what I'll stick to. All right. So what are you guys doing with Bitcoin? How do you feel about 90? How do you feel about 89? Okay. How do you guys feel? Let's see what we got going on. Okay. My guy Howard says, purchase more Bitcoin this week already using monthly DCA strategy. Coincidence. Okay. Howard is he bought some and he's DCAing. Okay. So okay. Thank you for the confirmation. Okay, my guy Howard is saying bye, take advantage of the decline. Okay, good. Different strokes for different folks, right? There's no one right answer. For a lot of this stuff, there's no one right answer. All right. One attendee says, don't feel a thing. Thanks for your teachings. Okay. Oh, that's Jen. Okay. Shout out to Jen. I'm not saying you need to follow my psychology. My psychology and my course of action is the same. Period in, period out, day in, day out, quarter in, quarter out, decade in, decade out. I have the same approach. And my approach is to do the same damn thing repeatedly. All right, so that's Bitcoin. That is Bitcoin. Let me see. Let me take a look at current market. Okay, current market. Indexes look up. Bitcoin just pulled back a little bit to 89.2. Let's see what else we got. Yeah, a couple interesting tickers here. We talked about a couple of them already. What I wanted to do is I wanted to look up Meta. News regarding Meta. They had some. They had a favorable. I think it was a couple lawsuits that were dropped against them yesterday. I want to look up what's going on with Meta. I want to look up Meta news. Let's see what's going on with Meta. News. Let's click on news here. Yeah, antitrust. That's what it was. Meta wins FTC antitrust trial that focused on WhatsApp and Instagram yesterday. Meta does not have social media monopoly, judge rules. Okay, let's check out CNBC. Meta wins FTC antitrust trial that focused on WhatsApp and Instagram. Let's see what's going on here. Okay, Meta won let me skip down to the article. Meta won its high-profile antitrust case against the FTC. All right, let's see what's going on here, man. Step aside. Meta won its high-profile antitrust case against the FTC, which has accused the company of holding a monopoly in social networking. All right, let's see here. Judge so-and-so, U.S. District Court in D.C. said the FTC failed to prove its argument. The case initially filed by the FTC 5 years ago centered on Meta's acquisition of these two apps. Whether or not Meta enjoyed monopoly power over the past, though, the agency must show it continues to hold such power now. The court's verdict today determined the FTC does not that the FTC has not done so. A judgment so stating shall issue this day. Okay, this guy dismissed the case in 2021, saying the agency did not have enough evidence to prove Facebook holds market power. In August of that year, the FTC filed an amended complaint with more details about the company's user numbers and metrics relative to competitors like Snapchat and the now defunct Google Plus social network and MySpace. Okay, if you're Meta and your top competitors are Snapchat, a defunct app, and MySpace, it seems like you're doing something right. If your competitors are so far behind, it's a clear sign that you're doing something right. After reviewing the amendments in 2022, ruled that the case could proceed, saying the FTC had presented more details than before. We are deeply disappointed in this decision. The deck was always stacked against us. Okay, let's pause right there. If the deck was always stacked against you, then why even pursue this? That's what comes to my mind. Okay, we are reviewing all our options. Okay, you're gonna sit yourself down. You ain't got no options left. Okay, you try to take on the top 7 company in the world. Of course, the deck is stacked against you. Okay, you try to take on a mega cap. You try to take on a company of that size. No surprise. The deck is stacked against you. No surprise. Common sense. Okay, no PhDs required. Let's see what else. Okay, fierce competition. Meta CEO Zuckerberg, former operating chief Sandberg, Instagram co-founder, this guy, and other current and former Meta executives all testified in the trial, which began in April. The social media's shares fell less than 1% on Tuesday. The stock is up about 2% for the year, badly underperforming the broad indexes and most its mega cap peers. The court's decision today recognizes that Meta faces fierce competition. Let me see if I can. Okay, here we go. Our products are beneficial for people and businesses and exemplify American innovation and economic growth. We will look forward to continuing to partner with the administration and to invest in America. Okay, actually, this last sentence here ties into another topic I wanted to discuss today, and that's that White House dinner. Okay, I don't suspect. Well, I strongly suspect Zuckerberg was there in D.C. with them yesterday. I could be wrong, but I strongly suspect it's no coincidence that Zuckerberg was there in D.C. yesterday. All right, let's see. In the Meta case, the FTC claimed the company shouldn't have been allowed to buy Instagram for $1 billion in 2012 and WhatsApp for $19 billion in 2014, and the agency called for those units to be divested. The commission also alleged that there were no major alternatives for apps like Facebook and Instagram, and that people use to communicate with friends and family in an online social space. The most used part of Meta's apps, indistinguishable from the offerings on TikTok and YouTube. Okay, the most. Did I miss a part right there? Okay, so they're competing. Meta's might be competing with TikTok and YouTube when it comes to videos. User trends have moved heavily in the direction of video. All right, let's see. Meta is not a monopolist insulated from competition. Okay, Meta is currently at Meta is currently at 586. Okay, maybe you believe that's a great price, 585, 586. Okay, so do you guys own shares of Meta? Are you owners in Meta? Are you producers of Meta? Are you shareholders of Meta, or are we just consumers of Meta? Are we producers of Meta? Do we own stock in Meta, or do we just use their products? Do we just use their products, or are we owners of their products? Okay, which side of the equation are we on? Which side of the equation are we on? Are we producers, or are we just consumers? What side of the equation are you on? Okay, I own shares in Meta. I'm on both sides of the equation. Yeah, I do consume some of their products, but I also own some of their products. Okay. All right. So that's a story I wanted to share. A news article I wanted to share regarding Meta. Okay, regarding Meta. Let's see. Let me go back. All right. So that's Meta. Okay. So they won their antitrust suit. Okay. Business as usual. Business as usual. All right. So some other news regarding Meta. Okay. Okay, that was on my list. I wanted to discuss Meta. What do you guys think about that? What do you guys think about that? Are you guys owners of Meta? Do you guys own shares in Meta? Do you guys own shares in Meta? Okay, I wanted to talk about that dinner I just mentioned. I think it was a key dinner in DC yesterday. Okay, no coincidence. America's top executives were there yesterday. No accident. America's top executives were in DC at that dinner last night. All right, so let's get into it. Here's who attending Trump dinner. Okay, this is an article from New York Times. Okay, so let's see what's going on with New York Times. Okay, who attended Trump's dinner for the Saudi Crown Prince? Okay. Okay, so this was yesterday. It looks like in DC. President Trump had a dinner on Tuesday during the Saudi Crown Prince's visit to DC. Let's see who was there. All right, let's see who was there. The world's richest man, one of the world's most famous soccer players, the president's soccer's governing body, dozens of executives from finance, tech, and energy sectors were there. Okay, no coincidence. Let me skip down. Let's skip over the politics. Let's see here. Okay, soccer royalty. Cristiano Ronaldo, arguably the best soccer player, was there. All right, so let's see who's there. Gianni Infantino, okay, FIFA, head of FIFA. Okay, let's skip. Okay, here we go. Big business. Here we go. Big business. Tech moguls. Okay, here's who was there yesterday in DC. Tech moguls. Okay, number one on the list, Elon Musk. Number one on the list. No coincidence, no accident. Mr. Musk, the world's richest man, is making his first visit to the White House since he left his role in the administration in dramatic fashion. Okay, the two have reached something of I don't know what that word is, in recent months. Okay, ties to Saudi Arabia. You can read through that. Okay, I don't want to even get into that. Okay, no coincidence. Tim Cook, CEO of the second biggest company in the world. Tim Cook, CEO of the second biggest company in the world, was there. Okay, no coincidence. Mr. Cook, the chief executive of Apple, was also one of the tech moguls in attendance. Okay, ties to Saudi Arabia. Apple spent over $2 billion. Okay. Who else was there? Michael Dell is CEO of Dell, one of the world's largest tech companies. No coincidence. Who else? Chuck Robbins. Mr. Robbins is chief executive of Cisco Systems, one of the largest makers of computer networking equipment. No coincidence. You read over his ties to Saudi Arabia. Oh, okay, bingo. Jensen Huang, okay, CEO of the biggest company in the world, was there. No coincidence. Mr. Huang is CEO of AI chip behemoth NVIDIA. Okay, no accident. Who else was there? Tariq Amin, CEO of Saudi-backed AI firm Humane. No coincidence. Which received roughly $1 trillion in funding from the country's sovereign wealth fund. Okay, Lisa Su. Okay, no coincidence. CEO of AMD, the major computer chips company. Who else was there? Business executives: David Ellison, CEO of Paramount Global, parent company of CBS, MTV, and Hollywood's oldest movie studio. No accident. No accident. Who else? Mr. Worth, chief executive of Chevron, second largest U.S. oil company. No accident. Mike Worth was there. Who else? Jane Fraser, chair and chief executive of Citi, a large consumer investment bank. Okay, no coincidence. No coincidence. Stephen Schwarzman, founder of chief executive and co-founder of Blackstone, a large New York-based private equity firm. Okay, no coincidence. No coincidence. Who else? Brandon Betchel, CEO of Betchel, one of the largest construction. So look, there's no coincidence these people are at the dinner last night. Okay, there's no coincidence. It wasn't by accident. Who else? Okay, I mean, we don't even need to go on. The CEO of the biggest company in the world was there. CEO of the second biggest company in the world was there, and I mean, those two alone is enough. No, richest guy in the world was there. Most powerful guy in the world was there. Okay, no coincidence. Okay, do you guys own any of those companies? Are you shareholders in any of those companies? Chevron, Apple, NVIDIA, who else? Blackstone. Or do you guys own any of those companies? AMD. Who else? Who else? Okay. If you own shares in any of those companies, your representatives were there in DC last night. Okay, so that was a key article I wanted to share. Who was at that key dinner last night? All right, let's see. Who else? What else? All right, key week in terms of earnings this week. Let's go to earnings whispers on X and see which companies report earnings this week. Okay, you might already know NVIDIA later today. Let's see who else. Let's see who else. Okay. This morning Target, this morning Lowe's, later today NVIDIA. Earlier this week, who do we have earlier this week? Home Depot, Klarna. Tomorrow, Walmart. Okay, so several blue chip companies this week. Walmart, Home Depot, Lowe's. Friday, BJ's. Tomorrow after close, Webull. Okay, so that's a look at this week's earnings. Okay, heavyweight later today. Jensen Huang, yesterday at the dinner in DC. Today, his company reports earnings after hours. Okay, so that is earnings this week. What do you guys think about that? All eyes on NVIDIA later today. Okay, what price is NVIDIA? NVIDIA is currently 184.33. Where do you think it'll be later today, tomorrow morning? Okay, that's earnings. All right, I wanted to touch a little bit on this past weekend. Some of you may know I had a 2-day options training this past weekend. I wanted to share a quick recap on this past weekend. Okay, so I hope you don't mind. We talk about this past weekend. I want to share this slide right here. Actually, there's 2 slides I want to share from this past weekend. One of them, a lot of you felt this slide. So let me see if I can share this screen properly. Let's see if I can do this properly. No, that's not the proper way. Okay, maybe this way. Let me see if I can share it like this. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Okay, so let me see if I can do this correctly. Okay, so here are here are the topics we just discussed this past weekend. Hopefully you can see that. Let me see if I can share this correctly. Okay, hopefully I can share that correctly. Okay, there we go. Okay, I'm technically challenged. Okay, let me go back. Okay, here are the 16 topics we discussed this past weekend. 16 topics. Okay, you can remove number 1, you can remove number 16, you can remove number 15. Okay, 13 option topics we discussed this past weekend. Okay, 13 topics we discussed this past weekend. Okay, several of them we will follow up and deep dive during my 6-week masterclass starting on December 9th. Okay, some of these topics require their own lecture. Okay, some of these topics require their own lecture. There's a lot of subtleties. There's a lot of nuances. There's a lot of follow-up discussion on several of these topics. Let's see. 7 requires its own lecture. Number 8 requires its own lecture. 9 and 10 require its own lecture. 13 requires its own lecture, and 14 requires its own lecture. Okay, so we'll save those topics for the 6-week follow-up. All right, but this is 13 topics, 13 option topics we discussed this past weekend. Several of you were on that weekend call. What numbers are you? Which numbers did you find most value? Which numbers did you find most value? Okay, drop those numbers in the chat. Which number here, 1 through 16, did you find most value? Those of you that attended this past weekend, what numbers did you find most value? Where did you find most value? What numbers? Drop them in the chat. I bring this up because those of you that were not a part of this past weekend's option trading training, the replay will be available, I believe today, or if not already available. Okay, so if you missed this past weekend's training and you want to watch a replay, these are the topics we discussed, and the replay should be available, if not already available. What numbers did you guys find most valuable? Those of you that attended, what numbers did you find most valuable? All right, drop those numbers in the chat. All right, so that's a quick summary on the topics we discussed this past weekend. All right, what topics did you guys find most valuable? Let me see. Numbers. Okay, so 9, 11, and 12. 9, cost of living. 11, algebra. Okay, so the option algebra answers 2 basic questions. If you know your capital base, you can calculate your cash flow. If you know your target cash flow, you can calculate your capital base. Okay, so that's a quick overview on option algebra. It answers 2 main questions. How much cash flow can I generate if I know my capital base? And if I know my target cash flow, what capital base do I need to generate that cash flow? Okay, so that's a quick review on option algebra. And number 12, benchmark returns. Okay, this is an important topic. Benchmark returns. As December 31st approaches, we need to know a baseline amount. Okay, we need to know a baseline return. Okay, we need to know we need to have a baseline ROI in mind every year. Okay, because of opportunity cost. If I know I'm returning 10% a year in my options portfolio, but the NASDAQ is returning 12%, then maybe I'm not best allocating my resources. Okay, so we need to have a benchmark return in mind. I just use the NASDAQ and the S&P as benchmarks. You can have your own benchmark in mind, but that was the general idea of topic 12. Benchmark returns. NASDAQ returns 12% on average every year. My options portfolio needs to generate more than that for this to be worthwhile. Okay, otherwise I'm better off buying and holding. Okay, so that's the review from this past weekend. Replay should be available, if not already available. All right, so that was the first topic first slide I wanted to share. This is another slide I wanted to share. A lot of you hit me up after the fact, and you guys like this slide. Let me see if I can share this properly here. Okay, Y options. This is Y options. Okay, this is Y options. No middlemen. Okay, short answer. Y options are no middlemen. Okay, we love middlemen. We love ass kissing. We love begging. We love code switching. We love university degrees. We definitely love job applications. We're in love. We really love labor. Okay, we really love people pleasing. We really love seeking other people's permission. We really love shining up our resumes. We really love being, we really love subordination, and we really love seeking external validations. Okay, no more, never again. Drop never again in the chat. Drop never again in the chat if you will never again pursue one of these things. Drop never again if you will skip over that shit and go straight to the cash flow. Okay. If I knew how to work this technology, I would drop never again myself if I knew how to do so without screwing up the tech. Okay, never again will you ask kids to get paid. Never again will you beg to get paid. Never again will you code switch to get paid. Never again will you perform labor to get paid. Never again will you people please to get paid. Never again will you seek somebody else's permission to get paid. Never again will you update your resume to get paid. Never again will you seek external validation to get paid. Okay, type never again in the chat. We're going straight to the cash flow from the jump. We're skipping all that shit in the middle. We're going straight to the cash flow from the jump. Why options? That's why options. Okay, that's why options. I hope that was concise. Okay, I don't know how to bullshit. I just know how to be concise. Why options? We're skipping all that shit in the middle. That's why options. All right. All right. Let's go back. Never again. Let me see if I can type never again. I'm gonna type that never again. Okay, never again. No more ass kissing. No more people pleasing. No more begging. No more shiny resumes. We're going straight to the cash flow from the beginning. Okay. No more shiny resumes. Never again. Never again. All right. So that's why. Okay. So that was this past weekend. All right. Let me cross that off the list. Okay. All right. So I mentioned December 12th. I want to run through what we're going to talk starting December 12th. Let me see here. Share screen. Okay. So here's a quick summary on what's going down starting December 12th. Let me see if I can. Okay. All right. Let me scroll all the way up. Okay, so here's a landing page on the masterclass. Okay, hosted by me, starting just 12/9, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, 6 consecutive Tuesdays, 9 total sessions. I'm gonna start building out some extras, and we're gonna have bi-weekly labs during market hours. Okay, actually, I'm gonna drop this. In the. See if I can drop this in the chat. If you're interested, I'm gonna drop the link in the chat. Okay, so check that out on your own time. I want to review this quickly. I want to go through the topics we're going to discuss. Okay, there's a price. There's a little bit about me. Okay, so 6 consecutive Tuesdays. Let me see if I can make this bigger. Bi-weekly application labs during market hours. Replay. I'm going to start building out some extras for you. Okay, and you're going to get the replay to. You're going to get the replay to this past weekend. Okay, this past weekend, day 1, we reviewed basics. Day 2, we got into some more advanced topics. Okay, but I want to run through the schedule right here. Let's see. The schedule should be here somewhere. Week by week breakdown. Okay, some extras from Dr. Boyce. Let's see here. I should see. Okay, here we go. Week 1, 5 selling strategies. Week 2, how to reverse engineer your freedom. HELOC mathematics for those of you that have a lot of real estate equity management, including rolling, entity trading, and the margin secured put. So there's your 6 topics for each week. Okay. Okay. And you can read the rest of that landing page. All right. So that's the 6 weeks starting on 12/9. Okay. We're skipping all that ish we just talked about. We are going straight to the cash flow from the beginning. Why options? Because it's most efficient. All right. Okay. Another thing I wanted to share was this. Let's see here. Oh, my bad. I should press share first. Okay. Some YouTube shorts I saw, very interesting, from Yahoo Finance. Several shorts I wanted to share. Let me see here. Okay. So let's see here. Let me scroll up. Okay. This one's very interesting already. The world's richest man and the CEO of the biggest company text often. No surprise.
When currency doesn't matter anymore, just let me know right before.
You'll see it coming.
We text often, so just
yeah, we do.
Yeah, just text it off. when currency doesn't matter anymore, just, let me know right before.
You'll see it coming. You'll see it coming.
We text often, so
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, just text it out when currency doesn't matter
Okay,
anymore.
two of America's biggest executives text often. No surprise. All right, let's see here. What else? What was the other one I saw? This was kind of what we talked about earlier.
Bitcoin fell into the red for 2025. In fact, around $600 billion has been wiped off its market value after it reached that record high back in October. The one reason that helps explain this fall is market expectation for a Fed rate cut. Market pricing for a December rate cut dropped to around 40% from over 60% just 1 week earlier, prompting investors to shift capital away from high-risk assets like Bitcoin. This dramatic reversal in expectations has sent ripples through cryptocurrency markets. Bitcoin fell into the red for 2025. In fact,
okay, Bitcoin currently at let me see here, 89. Okay, almost 89 flat, almost 89,000 flat. Okay, let's see what else. Delta CEO, flight reductions caused by government shutdown were very disruptive. No surprise. Let's see here. Oh, this is an interesting one.
Have you started the interviews for the Fed chair?
Yes,
Who have you interviewed?
I think I already know my choice. Well, I liked him, but he's not going to take the job. He refused. You like Treasury better, right?
Much better, sir.
We have some surprising names and we have some standard names that everybody's talking about. And we may go the standard way. It's nice to every once in a while go politically correct.
Have you started the interviews for the Fed chair?
Yes.
Trump on potential replacements for Powell. Okay, like we talked about later today, NVIDIA.
everyone on Wall Street is laser focused on NVIDIA. Everything in AI is connected to NVIDIA. It's still the daddy of AI, and it has huge relationships with some of the biggest tech names out there, the Googles, the Amazons, the Microsofts. Number two, it's used as a geopolitical tool. When it comes to trade negotiations, Washington has been using NVIDIA as an important bargaining chip when having talks with China and even Saudi Arabia. Third, it's technology. NVIDIA's AI chips are still the most desirable chips in the AI sector, though it is facing increased competition, especially from the likes of AMD. But for now, NVIDIA is still number one when it comes to AI chips. Number four, you've guessed it, it's size. NVIDIA is still the world's largest public listed company out there. And briefly, it was worth more than $5 trillion earlier this year. Everyone.
This short, as that guy was speaking, it reminds me of two important concepts in business: negotiation and leverage. Okay, negotiation and leverage. When you can create enough leverage, you have more negotiating power. Okay, when you have more leverage, when you can create more leverage, you have more negotiating power. Okay, so it's a good lesson to us to create as much leverage as we can, and then flex our negotiating power, flex our negotiating muscle. Okay, so it's a good lesson as I was listening to that.
Everyone on Wall Street is laser focused on NVIDIA. Everything in AI is connected to NVIDIA. It's still the daddy of AI, and it has huge relationships with some of the biggest tech names out there, the Googles, the Amazons, the Microsofts. Number two, it's used as a geopolitical tool. When it comes to trade negotiations, Washington has been using NVIDIA as an important bargaining chip when having talks with China and even Saudi Arabia. Third, it's technology. NVIDIA's AI chips are still the most desirable chips in the AI sector, though it is facing increased competition, especially from the likes of AMD. But for now, NVIDIA is still number one when it comes to AI chips. Number four, you've guessed it, it's size. NVIDIA is still the world's largest public listed company out there. And briefly, it was worth more than $5 trillion earlier this year. Everyone on Wall Street is laser focused.
Does anyone know? Okay, so they just mentioned that NVIDIA is about worth about $5 trillion. Does anyone know the total market value of all the companies in the market combined? What's the total value of all the companies in the market combined? How much trillion? Nvidia is about 5 trillion. What's the total market value of all the companies in the market? Does anyone know? Drop that number in the chat. What's the combined market value of all the companies in the market? Drop that number in the chat. How many trillion? If Nvidia is 5 trillion, what's the total value of all the companies in the market combined? I say 50 trillion. I say 50 trillion. What's your number? We're going to look it up. What's the total market value of all the companies in the market? I say 50 trillion. We're going to ask the AI. We're going to ask the AI. What is the total market value of all the companies in the market combined? What number? What's that trillion? How many trillions? Let me pull up my AI here. Let's ask maybe GPT. Let's ask GPT. I say 50 trillion. I say 50 trillion. Let me see here. Let me pull up GPT. GPT, where you at? GPT. Okay, GPT, here we go. All right, let me share my screen here. Let me share my screen here, or was I already shared? Oop. Okay, so what we're going to ask the AI is, what's the market value of all the companies combined? What's the total market value of all the companies in the market combined? I say 50 trillion, 50 or 60 trillion, around there, I think. Drop that number in the chat. What's your prediction? How many trillion? How many trillion? I say, okay, let me go in the middle. Let me say 55. Let me say 55 trillion. 55 trillion. Anyone in the chat? Anyone in the chat? 65 to 70, Howard. Okay, so let's find out. Let's see. What is the total market value of all companies in the American stock market? Okay, before I tap enter right there, any other guesses? Any other guesses? I say 55 trillion. I say 55 trillion. Drop your answer in the chat. What is the total market value of all companies in the American stock market? Okay, let's see here. I say 55 trillion. Let's see here. So, okay, good ballpark, 60 to 62. 60 to 62. What did I say, 55? I think Howard right on the money. 60 to 62. Okay, 65 to 70. Okay. 60, okay, let's go in the middle. 61 trillion for all the companies. Okay, so let's do some math here. Okay, no advanced mathematics necessary. Let's do some basic math. Okay, let's go with the middle number. 61 trillion. Okay, 61. What is 5 divided by 61? What is 5 divided by 61? What is 5? So that's how much NVIDIA is worth of the entire market. What is 5 divided by 61? What is 5? Okay, let's ask the GPT. What is 5? What is 5 divided by 61? That's how much NVIDIA is worth in terms of percentage. 8% of the market. 8.2%. Okay, 8.2% of the market. NVIDIA is worth 8.2% of the market. Okay, basic math, right? Nothing crazy. 5 divided by 61. Okay, no calculus necessary. About 8%. All right. Cool. All right. What do you guys think about that? All right, let me share my screen. Let's take a look at live market. Let's see what's going on in the market. Trading view. Let me share my trading view. And then maybe we'll take a look at some of the headlines on Google. Okay, BTC 89.1, AMD 222, Apple. Okay, Apple's pretty much all-time high, 270 or thereabouts. Coinbase 249. Okay, Microsoft. I like Microsoft. Anything below 500. Currently 45. Meta. I like that price. 583. Netflix just split a couple days ago. 109. Nvidia 184 before earnings. Palantir 164. Tesla 402. Okay. All right. So that's where we are as of 12:50 p.m. Eastern. That's where we are. Okay, let me go to Google. I want to go to Google. All right, let's go to Google here. Share screen. Maybe we should just ask GPT. Let me go back. All right. I want to go to Google for this reason. Let's do this. Okay. Stock market news. There you go. Let's see what's going on here in these financial streets. Okay. Stock market counting on NVIDIA. NVIDIA earnings. From the breakingthenews.net, Trump stock market growth is lifting U.S. economy. Let's check out CNBC. CNBC S&P ticks higher as Wall Street awaits earnings. Bloomberg stocks rise just hours away from NVIDIA's earnings. All right, let's check CNBC. Let's see what's going on with CNBC. All right, let's go to markets. Actually, let's go home. Stocks making their biggest moves today. Alphabet, NVIDIA, Lowe's. Okay, it's only a matter of time before Google crosses back 300. Google is currently at $294, up $10 or 3.5% to $294 today. Okay, headed to 300 shortly. Let's see what else. Perplexly AI announces free product to streamline online shopping. Target cuts profit outlook as shoppers look for deals, make fewer store trips. That headline makes me think about my history with in-store shopping. Okay, I used to shop in store. I used to shop in store for groceries. Since the pandemic hit, I'll probably never again shop regularly in store. I'll press a few buttons on this laptop or on this phone, and let Amazon do their thing, man. My time is more valuable. I came to the what's the right word? Epiphany. I had an epiphany during COVID that if I spend an hour and a half every week driving to the store, walking up and down the aisle, waiting in line, and driving back, that's an hour a week. That's an hour a week minimum, right? Just say it's an hour a week. Driving there, walking up and down the aisles, waiting in line, and then driving back. That's an hour a week, right? 4 hours a month. My time is better allocated. If I could take those same 4 hours and redeploy them, I could better use my time. You better use my time. So that was one of the epiphanies I had during COVID. I'm going to stop wasting 4 hours a month grocery shopping. Okay. I'm going to let them boys come drop. I'm going to press these few buttons, let them boys come drop off my groceries, and reallocate my time every month. Reallocate 4 hours every month. Okay. So that's why I kind of mentioned that make fewer store trips. Okay. That's people like me. I'm never going. And the same thing with the banks. I'm never trying to go in store to a bank, go personally in the bank. Never again. Two key words from today's meeting. Never again. Okay. Never again will I ask cases to get paid. Never again will I beg to get paid. Never again will I shine up my resume to get paid. Never again will I go into a bank or into a grocery store. It's not a good use of my time. That's why. Okay. That's why it's not a good use of my time. My time, your time is one of your biggest assets. We have none to waste. Okay. Never again. Type never again in the chat. Never again. Never again will I personally waste time. Let's see what else. Let's see what else. Okay, so some headlines from CNBC here. Stock market is counting on NVIDIA. Here are the whisper numbers. Let's check this one. What is a whisper number? Okay, I can't read. I read too many articles. Okay, I'm too dangerous. I read too many articles. Too threatening. I'm too threatening. I am too threatening. I read too many articles. All right, what else we got? Okay, CNBC headlines. CNBC headlines. Okay, when you read too much, I guess they consider you too much of a threat. Don't be doing all that fancy book learning. Don't be doing all that fancy reading. Shut up and listen to what we say. Do what we do as we say. Business Insider. Let's see what's going on with Business Insider. All right, businesses. Why a top strategist says the market is right to be concerned about massive borrowing among AI companies. Let's see. Is this the home? Let's go to the home screen. All right, let's see here. Okay, so that dinner last night right here. NVIDIA earnings. Lowe's says shoppers are sticking to small projects as the home renovation slump drags on. Let's just see what's going on with Lowe's. Homeowners are staying away from big renovations, but Lowe's says some are taking on smaller projects, an encouraging sign into 2026. Some Lowe's customers are spending on relatively affordable home improvements, says CEO. Some purchases include water heaters, kitchen sinks, windows, executives said on the call. Sales in those areas are also benefited as Lowe's has digitized more of its sales process and added new product selections in some categories. Signs of life in areas that make us cautiously optimistic. The home improvement retailer reported their Q3 results and exceeded analyst expectations. Its guidance for 25 profit came in lower than predicted. Many homeowners continue to push off more expensive projects. Affordability and uncertainty and broader economic continue to weigh on customers' confidence, particularly when it comes to larger discretionary purchases. High interest rates over the past few years have made it less attractive for many people to spend on renovations, particularly if they have to take a loan to do so. Despite rising home prices, increasing borrowing opportunities, many homeowners are waiting for interest or mortgage rates to decrease before they make bigger ticket purchases. Okay, that's pretty understandable. That's pretty expected. While Lowe's executives avoided making a prediction about when this might happen, they said the company is optimistic about conditions going into the new year. All right, so that's what's going on with Lowe's. Okay, I think Lowe's does pay a good dividend. I think some people like Lowe's for their dividend and their stability. All right, so some headlines here from Business Insider. This big AI bubble argument is wrong. Let's check out the markets tab. Three reasons Bitcoin is on the brink of wiping out its gains for the year. I think it already did. Actually, when we're talking about that dinner, I was surprised Microsoft or Google CEO wasn't there. They didn't mention one of them. Maybe they were unavailable. Okay, so earnings, who else? Palo Alto, I remember seeing. I think Lowe's already reported. Target already reported. Oh, you know what I need to do? I'm going to put that on actually the agenda for next week. I want to take a look at FinViz. I like their heat map. Maybe next week. Okay, so that's what's going on in Business Insider. That's what's going on with Business Insider. Okay, almost 1 p.m. Eastern. Today we talked about several things. Okay, several things today. Talked about NVIDIA. We talked about Meta. We talked about Bitcoin. We talked about Lowe's. We reviewed this past weekend's 2-day training. Talked about other companies report earnings this week. Watched a couple YouTube shorts. We looked up total value of the stock market. What is it? 61 trillion. 61 trillion. We'll see how today after hours shakes out. Let me see if I still have. No, I closed it. I wanted to see what time. NVIDIA reports earnings. Let me see if I can find that. What time does somebody know the time? The exact time, East Coast time, that NVIDIA reports earnings. Let me see if I can find out. It might be like I'm guessing like 5:30 p.m. Eastern. I'm guessing 5:30 p.m. Eastern. Let's see. Anyone know the exact time? Drop it in the chat if you know the exact time NVIDIA will be reporting earnings today. Let me ask GPT. Let me ask GPT if they know the exact time. What time will NVIDIA report earnings today? Question mark. What did GPT say? What time will NVIDIA report earnings today? Right there in the top right. Does it give us an exact time? Okay, earnings release about 4:20 p.m. Eastern. Conference call at 5 p.m. Eastern. Okay, so those of you that own shares in this company, about 4:20. Conference call at 5 o'clock. Okay. Key day in the financial markets today. Okay, this does affect your net worth. Okay. Key day in the financial markets. Okay, a lot of things do not affect your net worth. NVIDIA earnings will affect your net worth. So I will pay attention myself. Okay, 4:20 p.m. Eastern. 4:20 p.m. Eastern right there. Okay. All right, there you go. All right. Let's wrap it up. My name is Errol C. Mango. Next week, we will meet again at 12 noon Eastern, discuss more news impacting financial markets, discuss more ways to buy back our time, discuss more ways to build our wealth, discuss more ways to build our health, discuss more ways to be psychologically free. Freedom starts right here. In the mind. Okay, freedom starts right here in the mind. Get free. It starts right here in the mind. Okay, so I'll check you out next week, Wednesday, noon Eastern. Peace.